So just spending these first few moments connecting with our breath, just allowing ourselves to come into the space. Just make sure I've got the volume up. Yeah. Okay. So observing and witnessing your natural breath to begin with. Softening through the body. Just observing where your breath is at this morning. Is it calm? Is it a little bit anxious? Have you rushed around a little bit to get on your mat in time? So just allow yourself to soften and melt into your natural breathing and into your space. So witnessing the breath, allowing the breath to flow freely through the body. Observing each inhale, each exhale. Starting to connect with the body, observing where your body's at this morning. So if you're experiencing any tension or tightness in the body, just guide your breath towards that space, encouraging the breath to expand into the tightness that you're feeling. And as you exhale, allow the body to soften, to release and let go. Moving through our practice with kindness and compassion towards any injuries that we may be carrying or any real tightness in the body. A couple more breaths here. Bringing ourselves into our space, bringing ourselves into the present moment. Releasing and letting go of any clinging thoughts, anything we're holding on to that we don't need to move through our practice for the next hour. We can just allow it to park itself to the side so we can be fully focused, fully aware. And slowly opening the eyes. Moving into what we call Sufi circles, just opening up through the pelvis and the hips. So we're taking the chest forwards, and the heart forwards, and then we're going back. So going in a clockwise, circular movement. Pressing the chest forwards, and then taking the chest and leaning back towards the back, and then back to the side. Trying to keep some stillness in the legs and the lower body, and just moving from the center of your body, from the hips and the waist, and then changing direction. Keeping the breath flowing. And then coming into the center. So just opening up through the chest and the shoulders, taking the hands onto the shoulders and just drawing the elbows towards each other, up and around. these deep breaths. So as we move through the shoulder opening and stretching, as we take the elbows forwards, we can kind of round the back a little bit, so we can really open up through the spine. And then as we take the elbows back, we can really open up through the chest, so kind of exaggerate into this movement. It's a bit like a cat-cow, spiraling through the spine, creating space, changing direction, taking the elbows in the opposite way. And then relax and release the arms. And then finding your eagle arms. So we take the hands forward, we'll take the right arm over the top of the left, and we'll hold on to the palms or hold on to the shoulders, okay, whichever feels more comfortable. And then slightly draw your elbows away from you. So you're drawing your elbows away, keeping the shoulders soft, so the shoulders are away from the ears. Then you're just gently drawing your elbows away. And then we can start to lift the elbows up. So slightly lifting the elbows up. So feeling into the stretch in the upper back and the shoulders, just noticing the difference between the elbows slightly down to the elbows slightly up. Feeling the difference from the elbows pressing away from your chest and the elbows drawing in towards your chest. Just feeling in to your eagle arms, breathing into the body. Okay, inhale, lift your elbows up, lift your head up. And exhale, take your elbows down in towards your belly. Rounding the back, release the head down. Inhale, lift the elbows up. And exhale, release them down. And again, inhale, lifting up. And exhale, releasing down. And release the arms. Let's give the arms a little shake. And then we'll take it over to the other side. So arms forward, left over the top of the right this time. Just drawing the elbows slightly away from the chest. Sinking the shoulders down the back. And then lifting the elbows slightly, just a very subtle movement, and feeling in to the difference in the stretch. Just moving the elbows very slightly forwards and back and up and down. And then a big inhale, let's lift the elbows high, lift the head up. And as you exhale, rounding the back, draw the elbows in towards your body, release your head down. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, releasing the elbows down in towards the chest. And last one, inhale, lifting up. And exhale, releasing. And unfolding the arms when you're ready. I'm sorry if the internet's a little bit unstable this morning. Okay, coming into our Bennu bird. So I'm coming to the side of the mat. You can come to the side if you can still see me. And you can pop some support underneath your knees. Starting on the right hand side, extending the right leg out to the side of the mat. And then my right hand is making its way down the right leg and lifting my left arm up towards the sky. Being mindful that the shoulders are soft. Now I'm feeling into a stretch that's happening down the left side of the body. Softening in. You can take your left arm over your head. Nice deep breaths. And inhale, coming into the center. Taking your palms, so they're facing towards the back. Okay, so they're facing away from you. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other, so your shoulder blades are pressing into your spine as you move your hands and your arms back. And then we drop the chest. We lift the chin and we lift the tailbone, so we're creating a little bit of an arch in the lower back. Lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Breathing for 3, for 2, and 1. And inhale, lifting up. Take your left hand down onto your mat and lift your right arm up to the sky. So we're going over to the opposite side. If the hand doesn't quite come to the floor, you can always place a block underneath your left hand and bring the floor to you. And then you can start to release your right arm over the side of the head. Pressing the hips forward. And lifting the right arm up towards the sky. And find a balance. Start to lift your right leg up. Breathing for 3. 2, and 1, and release down. Coming back up to the center, bringing the knees in together, release the arms. Preparing to take over to the other side, extending the left leg out. Left arm makes its way down the left leg as the right arm reaches up towards the sky. Shoulders are soft. We can look up towards our hand. And then the right arm can start to come over the side of the head, going a little bit deeper into this side stretch. Breathing into the body, breathing into your side body, feeling the stretch down the right side. And then inhale, coming up, finding Bennu bird, palms facing towards the back. Drawing your shoulder blades in towards your spine as you push your hands back. Press your chest down towards the floor and lift your chin. Start to press your hips and your tailbone up towards the sky, creating a little bit of an arch in the back. Keep the breath flowing. And inhale, rising up. Placing the right hand down, taking the left arm up and then over the side of the head. Pressing the hips forwards, breathing. Take the arm back up to the sky, the top arm, and find your balance. So the leg is lifting up, the back leg is lifting up. And we're breathing for 2, for 1. And you can release your left hand down, switch round so you're facing towards the top of your mat, and release your left knee down so you're in your tabletop. Moving through a cat-cow as you inhale, lifting chin and tailbone, and exhale, rounding into the back as you find your cat. So moving with your own breath here, encouraging you to feel into your body, adding in anything you feel your body needs. Maybe the hips need to move around a little bit more, maybe the head needs to move around. Just feeling in to the spine, feeling in to your body. And then tucking your toes, press your hips back towards your heels. So just stretching through the toes, press the hips back. And inhale, coming back up into tabletop. Find your cow, lift your chin, lift your tailbone. And exhale, rounding into cat and pressing your hips back towards your heels. So you've got a roundness in the spine. Inhale, lifting back up into tabletop, moving into your cow pose. As you lift your tailbone, lift your chin. And exhale, rounding the back into cat and pressing your hips back towards your heels. And last one, inhale, coming into your cow, lifting your chin, lifting your tailbone, relaxing your belly. And exhale, rounding into cat and pressing the hips back. Coming up onto all fours, and then into downward facing dog. So finding your position for your downward facing dog. Maybe you're moving a little bit through the feet as you settle into downward facing dog. Maybe the knees are bent. Inhale, looking up towards your hands. And exhale, stepping towards the top of your mat. Inhale, rising up, coming all the way up to standing. Ready for sun salutation A. Grounding down with the feet. Grounding down with the tailbone. So you're nice and straight through the spine. Shoulders are relaxed down the back and the palms are facing forwards in your mountain pose. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step back into your plank and lower down. Chaturanga or dropping the knees, your choice. Inhale, upward facing dog or maybe cobra pose just for the first couple of sun salutations. Exhale, finding downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, looking up towards your hands. Exhale, step or jump towards the top of your mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift. And exhale, folding into forward fold. Inhale, rising up, coming all the way up to standing. Lift the arms up and exhale, bring your hands in towards your heart. Release into mountain pose. Second round, inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, find your forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back into your plank and lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, looking up towards your hands. Exhale, step or jump towards the top of your mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift. And exhale, fold into forward fold. Inhale, rising up, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands come in towards the heart. And release the hands down beside the body, mountain pose. Last round. I'm going to let you flow at your own pace, okay? So starting with inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale, forward fold. And off you go. If you don't remember the flow, don't worry. Just make it up. But just keep flowing. Do whatever comes to you. When you come into a downward facing dog, take your 3 breaths. And then we'll meet when you're ready at the top of your mat with the hands and towards the heart. Okay, taking the feet slightly apart so they're hip width apart, we're going to come into a deeper forward fold. Inhale, lift the arms up, and exhale, fold in. So if you need to use a block or some support, grab a block. Releasing the head, softening through the shoulders, shifting your weight towards your toes, okay? You can have a bend in the knees or you can use some support. 2 more breaths. And as you inhale, come into chair pose. Inhale, drop the tailbone, lift the arms up. Find your chair. And from chair we can come into diver's pose. So we straighten through the legs, we swing the arms back and we come onto the toes. We drop the chest down, we lift the chin. It's a bit like Bennu bird, okay? The chest drops down, the chin lifts and the arms come back. Lovely, well done. And then back into chair, drop your heels, take your weight into the heels and lift the arms back up. 3 breaths. From here we're going to move into eagle pose on the right side, okay? You're going to lift your right leg up, place it over the top of the left. Bring your arms out into the front and take your right arm over the top of the left arm. Find your eagle arms. Remember, you can always hold on to the shoulders. Drop the hips down. Lift the elbows slightly up and away from you. And feel into your eagle pose. And you're breathing for 3. For 2. And 1. Unfold the arms and inhale, lift the arms up. And as you exhale, start to unwrap your right leg and step your right foot back behind you so you've come into a crescent lunge. Take your hands down onto your mat and step back into your downward facing dog. And lift your right leg up. You come into 3-legged dog. So you're just lifting your right leg up, being mindful that your hips stay level, being mindful that your shoulders stay level. And then we can start to open up through the right hip. So right foot is just dangling over towards the left. And we're drawing the right knee up towards the sky. If you want to, you can flip over into wild pose. So you can drop your right foot down, straighten your left leg, flip your chest round towards the sky. Breathing. And then we can take it back to our 3-legged dog. So come back round, lift your right leg up. And then back into your crescent lunge on the right side. Take your right foot towards the top of your mat and inhale, lift your arms up. Opening up through the chest as we take the hands behind the back, clasp the fingers. Press your chest forwards, press your shoulder blades towards each other. Breathing into the pose. Let's take it forward. So we're dropping the chest down. So we're looking to take the chest inside the right leg. Release the head down and lift your arms up. Keep breathing. And inhale, rising back up. Lift the chest up, unfold the arms, straighten your front leg, grounding down with your back foot as we find triangle pose, Trikonasana. Arms are level with the shoulders. Inhale, we reach over towards the right, drop the right arm down, lift the left arm up. You can have a bend in that right knee if straightening through the leg feels uncomfortable, or you could always use a block and place your right hand on top of the block. So we're going to release the right hand and bring it up so it's level with the floor. And then the top arm is going to come over the side of the head. This is quite a challenging pose. Breathe into it for 2, for 1. Shifting round to pyramid pose, so we're facing towards the top of our mat. Arms are still stretched out in front. We need to shift our back foot slightly so that our hips come round towards the front of our mat. Inhale, reaching forwards with the hands and taking the chest parallel to the floor. Be mindful of your hips. Are your hips level? Has your right hip drawn out towards the right side? Draw your right hip back. 1 more breath. When we come into warrior 3, our balance pose, bend your front knee, shift your weight forwards and lift your back leg. 3 more breaths. For 2, for 1. Release your back foot down, lift your arms up, goddess pose to the side of your mat. The toes come out, the heels come in, and release your arms down onto your hips. Whew. And then start to really drop down with the tailbone, feeling the inner thighs working, yeah. Softening in, drawing your knees outwards. Okay. Inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale, bring hands in towards the heart. Inhale, arms rise up. And exhale, hands into the heart. And 1 more. Inhale, arms up. And hands drawing in towards your heart. And just holding here. See if you can take your tailbone down a little bit further. Feeling into the inner thighs. Connecting with your breath for 2. For 1. And then straighten through your legs. Well done. Release your arms. Point your feet forward. So we're coming into a wide angle forward fold, but we're not coming all the way down. We're going to take the hands onto the hips, take a deep inhale, and as we exhale, we're just coming parallel to the floor. Okay? And then we're going to take the arms out to the side. Now try not to arch through the back. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. Try and find that straightness in the back so we're not putting any pressure on the lower back. Yeah. Draw your shoulders back. Press your fingers towards the sides of your mat. Nice deep breaths. 1 more breath here. Well done. Inhale, rising up. Back into your crescent lunge towards the top of your mat. Bend your front knee, lift your back heel, lift your arms up. For 2. For 3. Release your hands down. Step back into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. And again, inhale, lift your right leg up. And bring your right knee in towards your chest and round your back. Lift your back heel, round in so your head draws towards your knee. And then release, lift the leg back up, lift your head up, lift your chin up. And then draw the head in towards the chest, the knee in towards the chest. And again, lift the leg up, lift the chin up. Last one. Head in, knee in. And from here we're going to come into pigeon pose, okay? So you're going to place your right shin towards the top of your mat, just behind your wrists. And you're going to start to lengthen back with the left leg. finding your variation of pigeon. So I know I've worked with some of you, and you may need some props to prop up underneath the right thigh. So what we're looking for here is the hips to be level. And if pigeon pose, this variation feels uncomfortable for you, you can always drop the tailbone down and bring this left leg to the side. This is a half pigeon, okay? So if falling pigeon with the left back feels uncomfortable, just bring your leg to the side. Okay, and then you can start to soften in if that feels available for you. So again, using any props. If you want to place your forearms on top of a block, or maybe the forearms come down to the floor and your head comes on the block. And just softening into your pigeon, okay? Trying to keep the hips level. Breathing deep into the body, breathing into the hips. Encourage the hips to soften and melt, to let go. Deep breaths. Softening through the shoulders. Just observing the pace of your breath as it shifted. Just trying to come back to that calm, relaxed breath. Allow the breath to flow into the belly, into the chest. Two more breaths. And then starting to make your way out of the pose. So if you come down onto your chest, just place your hands down onto the mat. Just try and lift your chest up as best you can. Maybe taking the hands a bit wider, you can use by pressing your fingers into the mat. Just open up through the chest. Nice, well done. And then bring your hands down. Tuck your back toes. Lift your hips up and find your downward facing dog. Pedaling out through the feet. Wiggling through your hips, bending through the knees. Inhale, looking up towards your hands. And exhale, step, jump or walk towards the top of your mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift. And exhale, fold into your forward fold. Inhale, rising up, coming all the way up to standing. And exhale, bring your hands in towards your heart. Inhale, find your chair pose. Take your weight into your heels. Relax your shoulders. Straighten through your spine. Tuck your tailbone slightly down towards your heels. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Find your diver's pose. Swing your arms back, straighten through your legs, press your chest down, lift your heels up, balancing on your tippy toes. Lift your chin slightly. Breathing for 2. For 1. Back into chair. Drop the heels, shift your weight into your heels. Lift your arms up, drop your tailbone. Straightness through the spine as you pull your belly button back towards your spine. Breathing into the body, firing up through the thighs. Bring your hands in towards your heart. And now we're going to find our eagle on the left side, okay? So I'm going to lift the left leg up and wrap the left leg around the right. Drop the hips down. Extend the arms out in front. Left arm crosses over the top of the right. Binding the hands or holding onto the shoulders. Find your balance. Find your drishti. Focus straight ahead of you. Breathing into the body. For 2. For 1. Releasing the arms up towards the sky. As you unfold the left leg, step the left foot back and find your crescent or high lunge. Bend your front knee. Your back heel is lifted. Yeah. Hands come down either side of your front foot as you step back into your downward facing dog. Three-legged dog on the left side. Inhale, lift your left leg up. That's it, yeah. And then you can start to open up the left hip. So drawing the left hip up towards the sky, the left knee up towards the sky, and the right foot dangling down behind you. Yeah, lovely. Flipping over, you want to take rock star, drop your left foot down, take your chest round towards the sky. And then coming back into your three-legged dog. Flipping back round. Lift your left leg up. Coming back into your crescent lunge. Taking the left foot towards the top of the mat. Lifting your right heel. Lifting your arms up. Softening in. Relaxing your shoulders. Taking the hands behind the back as we start to open up the chest. Clasp your fingers, press your heart forwards, draw your shoulder blades towards your spine. And then we take it forwards with the chest. So we're taking our chest forwards, and then down, releasing the head down, lifting the arms up. Breathing into the body. And then slowly coming back up, releasing the hands as we transition into triangle pose. Ground down your back foot, straighten your front leg. Arms are level with your shoulders. Inhale, leaning over towards the left. Exhale, take the left hand down, lift the right arm up. Breathing deep. Lifting your left arm up so it's parallel to the floor, and taking your right arm over towards the side of your head. 2 breaths here. Shifting round into pyramid pose, take your chest forward, arms forward. Move your back foot slightly so allow your hips to come round towards the top of the mat. Straightening through the front leg, hips facing forwards. Inhale, take the chest forward, staying parallel to the floor, reach your fingers away from you. You can take a little bend in that front knee if the leg straight feels uncomfortable, if there's any discomfort. Being mindful that the left hip has not come too far forwards, trying to find some level straightness through the hips. Preparing for warrior 3. As you bend your front knee and start to lift your back leg. Nice deep breaths. Release your back foot and find your goddess pose. So toes out, heels in. Dropping the tailbone down. Take your hands onto your thighs, okay? So take your knees out, take your hands onto the thighs, and we'll take some shoulder dips. So the right shoulder is drawing down towards the left. And then coming up to the center, and then shifting over to the other side. Left shoulder drawing down, and coming up. And again on the other side, and up, and take the right down, and coming up. And then staying here in the center, bring the hands in towards the heart, drop your tailbone down a little bit further, and then we can move slightly from side to side. Breathing for 3, for 2, lowering with each breath, for 1, well done, release straight through the legs, point your toes forward, back into our forward fold, wide-legged, hands onto the hips, inhale, drop your chest so it's level with the floor, take your arms out to the sides. Be mindful of the spine, okay? We're trying to keep a nice straight spine. Draw your belly button back towards your spine. Engaging through the core. And you're breathing for 3. For 2. For 1. And inhale, rise up. Lift your arms up. Crescent lunge on the left side, facing towards, so your left knee is bent, your right foot is lifted, your right heel is lifted. Couple more breaths. Hands come down either side of the front foot. We step back into our downward facing dog. Okay, so we're going to find those tiger crunches on the left side. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Couple of breaths here. And then we start to move the right knee in towards the chest and we draw the head down towards the knee. And then as we release, we lift the chin and we lift the leg up. And again, inhale, knee into chest, head towards the knee, and then lift up. Lift the chin. 1 more. Head in. And release. And then back into your downward facing dog. Preparing for pigeon pose on the left side, okay? So, if it's uncomfortable to come in from downward facing dog, then this is your moment to come down onto your knees and come in from on the knees. Otherwise, lifting the left leg up, swing your left shin towards the top of your mat, so behind your wrists, and then start to extend your right leg back behind you. So finding your variation, either half or extend the right leg back. And then just take a moment here in the upright position to soften in. So if you need some support underneath the left thigh to allow you to stay level across the hips, please feel free to find some support. And then you can start to soften it. Then you can start to release, maybe the forearms come down onto your mat or onto a block. And then maybe the chest comes down, maybe the head comes down. So as you soften into your pigeon pose, connecting with your breath, softening into your breathing, finding your relaxed, calm breath. Softening the shoulders, relaxing the face, and allowing the breath to flow into your belly, into your chest, into your throat. more breaths. And then making your way onto your hands, so coming back upright. And then trying to straighten through the spine, maybe taking the hands slightly wider, coming up onto the fingertips, drawing the shoulders down the back, pressing your chest slightly forwards. And then finding your downward facing dog. Hands come down, tuck your back toes, and lift your hips up. And wiggle out to downward facing dog. And then dropping the knees and coming to sit on the heels. So we're coming into hero's pose. And hero's pose, if we feel it's available, we can look to take the sit bones in between the ankles. Otherwise we can grab our props if we have any blocks, and we can take the blocks in between the ankles, 1 or 2, and we can sit down. Yeah. So finding your variation of your hero's pose. If this pose isn't available and the knees feel uncomfortable with this extension, then just take the legs forward and come back onto the hands and pressing into the hands. Okay. So in your variation of hero's pose, you're just going to take your hands back behind you. Now if you're raised up slightly, you may find it a little bit tricky to find the floor, so that if you have any more support, either a cushion or a block, you can use your other block to support behind your back. Otherwise, taking the hands back behind you. If it's available and you're familiar with coming all the way down, you're welcome to come down onto the elbows or come down onto the back. So just finding your variation. We are focusing on stretching and opening up through the thigh muscles. So come back to a point where you can feel the quads get a lovely stretch. And if you're in this position with your feet in front and your hands behind you, we can just lift up and take the sit bones back down. A couple more breaths. And then slowly we can start to come out of the pose. So if you're on your back, come onto the elbows, come onto the hands and lift yourself up. Come forwards onto hands and knees and take one leg back at a time and just stretch. So push your toes into the mat and press your heel back and forwards. And then changing sides. And then stepping back into plank pose, so both feet have come back. A little bit of core work. And shift your weight forwards and back, so you're shifting your shoulders over your wrists and then back. So your heels are moving back and forwards. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. Try and keep your spine stable. So try not to move your hips up and down, just moving shoulders back and forth. Yeah, lovely. One more breath. Find stillness. Untuck your toes so your feet are flat, and then start to lower the thighs, lowering the legs. Any discomfort in the back, start to bend your elbows. Otherwise, coming into an upward facing dog or cobra. Okay, any discomfort in the lower back, please bend your elbows. We're listening to our body, okay? Couple more breaths. And then softening all the way down onto your mat. So we did this pose on Monday, if you came to Monday's class. Kind of liking this pose. It's a variation of locust pose, Salambhasana. We're going to start on the right side. So our hands come by the chest. The elbows are drawing back towards the back of our mat. So you can take your hands wider if that allows your elbows to draw back. Okay. And we'll start on the right side, so you need to kind of get a little bit of momentum. As you inhale, swing your right leg up and place your left foot on your right leg. So it looks something like this. And then we place the chin down onto the mat. Okay. So give it a whirl. Inhale, lift your right leg up and see if you connect your left foot either to your shin or to your thigh. Chin comes down, we look forward. And we're breathing for 3, for 2, lovely, well done, for 1, and release. Take your hands in front, pop your hands on top of each other, place your forehead on your hands, relax your shoulders, relax through the hips, relax through the lower back, crocodile pose. This is a reset pose, just allowing the spine to soften and relax back. Okay, let's take it over to the left side. So preparing by taking your hands down beside your chest. Remember, the hands can come wide if that helps you draw your elbows back. When you're ready, inhale, lift your left leg up and place your right foot either on your shin or on your thigh. And then once you've found the connection with the leg, place your chin on the mat. And you're breathing for 3, point your toes up for 2, and 1, and release. Find your crocodile, hands in front, stacked on top of each other, forehead rests on the hands. Maybe wiggling the hips slightly to release any tension in the back. And then placing your hands next to your chest, come up onto your knees. Knees stay together and we find a closed knee child's pose. So the hips draw back towards the heels. We release the forehead down, or even the crown of the head down if that feels comfortable. And we take the hands back behind and we hold onto the feet. And we allow the shoulders just to soften and relax over the knees. And we're breathing into the back of the body. Breathing into the lower back. 2 more breaths here. And then lifting up, lifting the chest up. Taking the hips to the side, swinging the legs around. Extending the legs out in front. Inhale, lifting the arms up. And exhale, finding a forward fold. This can be more of a restorative forward fold, so the spine can be rounded. We can just soften in and fall into wherever we come forwards to, allowing the weight of the head just to pull you forwards. Relax your shoulders and just soften into a forward fold. Stretching and opening up through the lower back. The knees bent will create a stretch more in the back, okay? So if the knees are bent, you'll feel it more in your lower back. If the legs are straight, you'll also feel it in the legs. So depending on where you feel you need to just open up a little bit, you can have your knees bent or you can stretch your legs out straight. And then we can start to find our way into Shavasana, our final resting pose. So coming up, straightening through the legs, using the core as we lower ourselves down into our mat. So slowly drawing back, coming all the way down, lower back, mid back, upper back, and the head softens. So finding your comfortable Shavasana position. The knees can be bent, you can be lying on your side. So returning to your natural breath. Allowing all the parts of the body to relax and soften. Softening through the toes and the feet, ankles. Releasing any tension in the legs, allow the legs to be relaxed. Softening into the hips and the pelvis. Relaxing into the belly. Allowing the spine to completely relax and soften. The lower back is melting. The mid back is softening. The upper back and the shoulders releasing into your mat. Relaxing through the arms, the hands and the fingers. And softening into the face. Relaxing the jaw, making sure your teeth are unclenched, the tongue is resting gently inside your mouth. Staying in your Shavasana if you'd like to stay here. Otherwise, finding some movement, wiggling the feet, and the hands, maybe moving the head from side to side, starting to reconnect with your breath, making your way onto your side for a few breaths. And then coming up into a comfortable seated position. The eyes are still closed. Rubbing the palms together, creating a little heat, a little energy in the hands. And then placing the palms over the closed eyelids. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And a lovely long exhale. Let it go. Slowly opening the eyes and releasing the hands in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste. Thank you.